Thank you, New Hampshire.
Yep. Okay, do we have the picture? There's a picture that Bernie Sanders supporters are sending around. This picture right here that they're sending around trying to say that he's been in the trenches fighting for us, fighting for civil rights. That's not Bernie Sanders. That is Bruce Rappaport, a fellow student activist
at the University of Chicago. Are they saying this is Bernie?
His supporters are saying it. The Bernie Sanders campaign Tumblr feed has that picture. His introductory video has that picture. When I reached out to Tad Devine to ask, okay, what's up with this? He gave me this long statement, but the key point was, to be honest, we are not 100% sure.
Jonathan, you were one of the first to uncover that that was not Bernie Sanders.
Well, let's be clear. This story, I happened upon this story by linking into a Time magazine story from November. When that picture first appeared, alumni from the University of Chicago started, I guess, contacted Time and said, that is not Bernie Sanders. And what ended up happening was, the picture was captioned Bernie Sanders. Fast forward to January, the University of Chicago determines that it's not Bernie Sanders, it is Bruce Rappaport, another student leader at the University of Chicago. They changed the caption. I then somehow see this a couple weeks ago and am fascinated by the disconnect here. I get in touch with the university. They tell me they changed the caption in January because a lot of people came forward. I put out this, I called Tad Devine, the strategist for Bernie Sanders. We email back and forth. The big sentence he gives me is, to be honest, we're not 100% sure it is or isn't Bernie Sanders, but it's on the Bernie Sanders Tumblr feed as Bernie Sanders. It is in Bernie Sanders' campaign bio ad.
Andrew, this gets to yet another dividing line in the African-American community on the Democratic side, and that is in part an online-offline debate. Online, in social media, Jonathan can attest to this too, reporters, journalists who've been covering this campaign have been barraged with, as have African Americans who are active on social media, pictures of various civil rights marches, the 65 march in Selma, this Bruce Rappaport potentially picture, these pictures in New Chicago, with people insisting and red circling white men in the picture with glasses saying, that's Bernie Sanders. That's proof that he was not just in the civil rights movement, but that he was essentially a leader of the civil rights movement.
This picture right here that they're sending around trying to say that he's been in the trenches fighting for us, fighting for civil rights, that's not Bernie Sanders.
And this sort of great inflation, I guess you could call it, sort of trying to inflate Bernie Sanders' admirable support for the civil rights movement, admirable things he did with CORE, et cetera, which are admirable. No one's arguing they're not admirable, but attempting to inflate him into an almost John Lewis-like figure has caused a lot of problems for the Sanders campaign, particularly in social media.